Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to Aesthetic Imaging Video Tutorials. Today we're going to be taking a look at the stylistic lava flow. Now what's really cool about this is it's completely procedural, which means I can change anything inside of our mat holder here, and it will automatically update in the main composition. These kind of workflows are really important for when you're working on projects. It allows you to make quick edits easily without having to go through and change a whole lot of settings. Alright, so to start this off, let's create a new composition. We're going to call this Main Lava Comp. We're going to make this 1920 by 1080. Duration, we'll do like 7 seconds. How about that? We'll do 7 seconds for duration. Frame rate, 23.976, whatever. You can make it whatever you want. Hey, you do you, boo boo. See what I did there? All right, so now we have our composition all ready to go. Let's do fit up to 100%. And what we're going to do is we're just going to right click down in here, go to new text, and we're going to type in lava. And what we can do is just center that. Let's get a little technical in here. Let's kind of spread this out a little bit. There we go. Better kerning. How about that? All right. Now we can go back in and realign this. All right. So now we're centered and we have our lava. So what we're going to do is we're just going to Shift Command C and pre-compose this. We'll call this logo / text holder. There we go. Logo / text holder. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a new solid, and we're going to make this kind of like a maybe around there, 66% brightness, gray. So we're going to create that, and then what we're going to do, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. We're going to create a mask. So we're just going to double click on this rectangular mask tool. If you don't see this, what you can do is click, hold down, and go into this menu and get your rectangle tool ready. All right, so we're going to double click, boop, and we automatically have a mask created along our whole composition. All right, so what I want to do is I want to change the color of this so I can see it to like, bam, magenta. All right, so we're going to start off maybe about 1 second in. Well, no, we'll do half a second, 12 frames here. We're going to hit M for mask path, and we're going to click on the stopwatch. Then we're going to take our keyframe and we're going to move it to about 4 seconds. How about that? And then under the 12 frame mark, so we're going to click on our mask path here to select all the little points, and we're going to double click to bring up our transform, and we're just going to bring this down, and it's going to automatically create a keyframe. Now if we play this back, let's hide our logo. We have this. Thrilling. Now what we can do is add a little flavor to our consomme here. We're gonna select keyframes, right click, go to keyframe assistant, easy ease. You're gonna see what this does. Kind of slows it down as it gets to the top, slows it down as it leaves from the bottom. So on top of this, we want to add a wave form. Now, I'm using FX Console by Video Copilot. It saves a lot of time when you're working. So I'm going to be using this. If you don't have that or don't want this FX Console, it's free. But you can go up to Effects and Presets and type in the same thing. See? Wave Warp. And we're just going to add this to our solid. But first, let's play a game called Name That Solid. And this is going to be Lava Front. I hit the caps locks by accident on front, but you know what? That's fine. It's like saying like, hey, this is the front. All right, so we got our wave warp. First thing we're going to do is go under pinning, and we're going to set it to all edges. Now you'll see it's going to pin it to the bottom. One thing to note, if I raise the height of our wave height here, when it gets closer to the bottom, it's going to flatten out. And of course, as it gets to the top, it's going to flatten out. That's the pinning effect going into action. You can turn off pinning, but as you can see, you have this going on here. So we're just going to do pinning. How about that? All right, pin all edges. All right, so we're going to bring this up to about there. About there works. And we're going to lower our wave height, maybe a little bit less. Yeah. 35. We'll do 35. Now, let's play this back. As you can see, as it plays back, it's moving to the side. And we want that. We want that. And you know what? Honestly, that's all we need to do. Now, on top of that, we're going to add a turbulent displace. We're going to set this to twist. Going to turn down the size a little bit. All right, under evolution, we're going to alt-click on the stopwatch. We're going to type in time times 150. How about that? And I'm going to add a semicolon to the end here. It's not really necessary, but to get out of this, you can either click out, or if you have a number pad on your keyboard, you can hit enter. However, if you hit enter on the main keyboard, you go to the next line. Let's play this back. Maybe we can, whoop, not that one. Turn this down just a little bit. There we go. I mean, obviously, this is not really realistic to how lava would move, but like I said in the beginning, this is stylized. All right, so we got our wave warp and our turbulent displacement. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so we can have more room to work here. All right, so now we're going to add another new solid. This, way over there. This one's going to be called fractal noise. If you are unfamiliar with fractal noise, allow me to remind you.
What are you?
I'm fractal noise. I am fractal noise. But seriously, if you're unfamiliar with fractal noise, I actually do have 3 separate episodes dedicated strictly to fractal noise. All right, so we're going to add our fractal noise. First thing we're going to do, fractal type. We're going to change this to dynamic progressive. Soft linear. We're just going to invert it, make it easier. If you don't want to invert it, you can also do subsettings and rotate this 180 degrees, and it's the same effect. But it's just a lot easier to click this button that's already readily available rather than going into subsettings. Anyway, we're going to turn contrast down to about there. We're going to turn the brightness up to about that. Complexity, we're going to change to 6.5. Doesn't do much, but whatever. Subsettings, we're going to leave as is. Evolution, we're going to alt-click on the stopwatch and do time times 200. So now we have this. We want to actually make this a little bit bigger. Maybe something like that. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to pre-compose this. So Shift, Command, C, or you can go up to Layer, Pre-compose, or you can right-click and go Pre-compose. Obviously, I use the Shift, Command, C all the time. Okay, we're going to call this Frac Comp. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to set this to multiply. What we're meaning to do is have this only show up on our lava, but not where the lava is not. So we can do some fancy stuff. We could pre-compose this and then duplicate it and put it on top and use that as a transparency matte. Or we can just do this. So what this is doing is taking the transparency from anything below it and using that as a track matte. So for instance, if I were to add a new solid, make it whatever color, we just hit G to bring up our pen tool and just kind of do this weird shape. I don't know. Boom. It automatically updates using the track matte or using the alpha matte of this light gray solid plus the lava front. All right, let's get rid of that. We don't need it. And let's do this. Let's duplicate our lava front, duplicate that. And we're going to call this lava back. Ooh. So we're going to take this and we're going to move it to the back. We're going to take our frac comp. We're going to duplicate it and we're going to put it above our lava back and make sure that preserve transparency is set. Now for this lava back, we're going to hit Shift Command Y to bring up the solid settings. And we're going to move it over to the center because for some reason it's popping up over here now. Annoying. Anyway, what are we doing? We're going to click on the color and we're just going to darken this to maybe about 50%. And then we're going to hit S to bring up scale. We're going to click on this little chain to unlink the dimensions. And we got X and Y. What we want to do is put a little negative sign in front of that first 100 on the X value. So that'll switch that around. What that's doing is it's basically just flipping it horizontally. And because it's darker and it's going the opposite direction, it kind of gives the illusion of like depth. Maybe let's select our lava front, move it down a couple, lava back, maybe move that up a little bit. There we go. So we got some more depth. So we're going to right click on our lava front. We're going to go to Layer Styles and add a Bevel and Emboss. Now we're going to click on this little twirly whirly. All right. And we got our layer styles. We're going to open up our bevel and emboss. And we're going to turn up our size. Maybe turn down the opacity a little bit. All right. And that's all we need to do with that. And now we're going to go into our lava back. We're going to go to layer styles and we're going to add another bevel and emboss. All right. So we're going to open up our bevel and emboss. I don't know why I have such a hard time with that word. Words are hard. We're going to change this to a black and change this to multiply. And we're just going to bump up the size a little bit. And turn down the opacity to about 50%. All right, so now what we can do is we can take our lava back and our first fractal comp here, and we can pre-compose it. Shift Command C. We're going to call this lava flow back. And we can take our lava front and our other fractal composition and pre-compose that and call this lava flow front. Lava flow front. There we go. Let's take these two and make them yellow because hot. Whoops. Okay. Let's go in our project window here. Let's select our lava flow and correct that spelling. There we go. Lava flow front. Lava flow front. So now let's right click, go into new solid, and we're going to call this solid bubbles because we got to add some bubbles. So now on top of this, we're going to add particle world. Woo, look at that. So we're going to take our little emitter here. We're going to drag that down below the composition. All right, and we're going to flip open a producer. And we're going to change the radius for the X to go along the whole composition. the whole frame there. All right, so we're going to leave this at explosive. Change the velocity to 0, and gravity we're going to set to negative 0.05. Now we want to change the longevity here so that our particles last throughout the whole frame. All right, so what we're going to do, you notice it's blank here and then starts off and then goes up. Now it's kind of following the lava, so I guess we don't really need to do this, but we'll do that anyway. So if you need your particles already in the scene by the time it starts, all you have to do, go to your first frame and you just move the entire layer until your entire screen is filled. And then you just take the end and bring it over. All right, so we got our physics all worked out and our producer. Now it's time for the particle. So under particle type, we're going to go to bubble. And let's just set this to white. White and white. Maybe turn down the opacity. Something like that. All right, so I'm going to go in here and we're just going to set this to screen. Now, I only want the bubbles to show up. I just want it to be visible in the front here. So what we can do is take this composition. We can duplicate it by hitting Command D and moving it above our bubbles, and then setting our track matte to Alpha Matte Lava Flow. Now we can rename this to Bubble Matte. That works. Let's change the bubbles to like aqua, and then change the bubble matte to aqua. And it's aqua. All right, so as it stands, just a little too much bubblage. So we're going to turn that down just a little bit. 0.6 seems to be fine. All right, so now we have our bubbles all set up. Let's take all this and we're going to pre-compose it. Shift Command C to pre-compose, and we're going to call this Lava Flow Main. Hit OK. And let's just set this to yellow. All right, so now we have this. And what we want to do is we're going to add a VC color vibrance. So VC color vibrance. We're going to turn this to a nice, little lava-y color. Something like that should do. All right, so now we're going to take our logo. We're going to turn this on. We're going to take that and we're going to Command D to duplicate it. And we're going to put that on top. Turn it off. And under Lava Flow Main, we're going to set this to Alpha Matte. And we're also going to set this to screen so that we can actually see our bottom layer. And really the last thing we're going to do, we're going to add an adjustment layer. We're going to call this glow, and we're going to add a glow. That's going to be under stylized. Now, before we get started with this, you want to make sure that this is set to 32 bits per channel right here in your project window. If it's not, if it's say set to 8, you can alt click on it until you get to 32 bits per channel. Now, this is good for when you're doing stuff like glows or any kind of lighting effects, honestly. All right, so let's go into our glow. Change this to 0. Glow radius, we're going to make 20. Glow intensity, we're going to turn that down to like 0.1, 0.05, 0.01. Yeah, it's not doing much. One thing we have to do here, let's add a new solid. There you are. New solid. We'll call this BG for background. And we're going to change this to black. Hit OK. Now it's going to create it at the top. What we can do is Shift Command open bracket, and that'll bring that all the way down to the bottom. Now we're going to go back into our glow. We're going to duplicate it once, set the glow radius to be like 60, like 3 times the original. And then we're going to duplicate it again. We're going to make this like 180. And now we can just play around with the glow intensity, decide what kind of glow we want. So now, because we have this set to the alpha matte of our logo and text holder, let's call this lava matte. Lava matte. There we go. Change this to yellow so I know it's, part of this. We're pretty much finished. This is how you do it. All right, so from here, we can go into our logo text holder and go in our project here. Get out of here. Get out of here. And we have this After Effects logo. Just pop that in there. Scale that up. Turn off our lava. Go into our main comp, and it's automatically updated. What the fuck? All right, so we got our text holder. Now you notice that it's a little bright. So what we can do is we can go in here. We can add a curves. Add a curves. And just bring down the brightness to like, I don't know, maybe that. All right, so you'll notice that if we put this as screen, we can see through the lava. We don't want that. We want to put this on normal. And we actually want to uncheck this fill empty background. There we go. So now we can see what's going on. I knew something looked different. So yeah, like I said, as soon as we drop in our little logo here, we can automatically change it. And it gets updated. Boom. That easy. All right, so yeah, that's 0.02. Let's go and change this to 0.02, give it a little more glow. All right, so that's how you do the stylistic lava flow. I hope you found this enjoyable and useful. If you did, hit the subscribe, bell, like, comment. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.